Welcome to Tech Weekly with Jake Brown. Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of Tech Weekly. Tech Weekly is a show that will happen every Friday night from 8 o'clock to 8:15 p.m., and I'll tell you the biggest tech news that has happened in the past week in under 15 minutes. So, first up, Google has just announced 3 Pixel phones. First is the $349 Pixel 4a, which is available for pre-order right now and will ship on August 20th. Next is the Pixel 5, which will have 5G and is shipping sometime in the fall. And finally, there's the Pixel 4a 5G, which will cost $499 and also ship sometimes this fall. In other words, Google is just up and admitting that it has 2 more phones to release at the very same time as it's actually releasing another phone. It's messy but necessary because the month's Pixel 4a is coming out significantly later than expected. Google says that issues relating to the pandemic kept the 4a from hitting virtual store shelves earlier. In addition to this, Google has discontinued their Pixel 4 and 4 XL, its flagship phones that were released in October of last year. Both devices are out of stock in Google's store in the US, though some variants are still available in other regions for the time being. It's unusual for Google to discontinue a Pixel phone so quickly. The Pixel 2 and 3 were on sale for around 18 months each, with Google stopping sales roughly 6 months after the introduction of their successors. The move means Google technically no longer has a flagship phone for sale. So, next up, Sony has just announced the long-awaited follow-up to its popular WH-1000 XM3 noise-canceling headphones. The brand new WH-1000 XM4 headphones look exactly the same, but feature improved noise cancellation and finally the option to simultaneously pair 2 devices at once over Bluetooth. They go for pre-order today for $349.99 and will start shipping in mid-August. The 1000 XM4s use the same Q1N processor for noise cancellation, but Sony says that they have added a new Bluetooth audio system on a chip that analyzes music and surrounding ambient noise 700 times per second. Wow. Combined with a tweaked algorithm that makes the 1000 XM4s better at hushing voices and mid-frequency everyday ambient sound. In terms of audio quality, the 1000 XM4s should sound identical to their predecessors. They use a 40mm drivers just like the M3s, and Sony isn't making any claims about improved sound output. The upscaling feature of the headphones has been improved using AI, however. Battery life is still the same, topping out at about 30 hours of continuous playback, and all the controls and buttons are unchanged from the M3s. Now, it has been about 2 weeks since we last talked about this, but this week, Donald Trump claimed that TikTok will be out of business in the United States on September 15th if its Chinese parent company ByteDance doesn't sell it and provide the U.S. Treasury Department with a lot of money, backing off an earlier claim that he planned to ban the app over the weekend. This follows a report that Microsoft negotiated a 45-day window to acquire the company. CFIUS can penalize ByteDance if it doesn't sell off TikTok, but Trump's ban language has much more sweeping implications. There's virtually no precedent for the U.S. government to literally deny any American access to an app, particularly one that isn't charged with any legal violations directly relating to that ban. Trump also hasn't explained in detail how he would affect this kind of American equivalent to China's Great Farewell. However, a spin-off of TikTok, particularly by Microsoft, looks increasingly likely. Back to Google News. A leaked internal Google document suggests that the company has earmarked the fourth quarter of next year for the release of a foldable Google Pixel phone. This is from 9 to 5 Google. They reported that. The device codename Passport is said to be explicitly referred to as being foldable and is included alongside a list of Pixel devices going back to 2017's Pixel 2. As well as the foldable Pixel, the document also mentions a lower and mid-year device called the Pixel 5a and a Q2 2021 release date, and two other devices codenamed Raven and Oriole for quarter 4 2021. 9 to 5 Google speculates that these could be Pixel 6 models. It shouldn't come as any surprise that Google is working on a foldable Pixel device. Last year it confirmed that it was prototyping the technology ahead of its annual I/O developer conference. However, at the time, Google Pixel's development lead Mario Quiroz tempered expectations by saying that the company had been working on the tech for a long time, and added that he didn't think there was a clear use for foldable devices yet. According to this document, however, it seems that Google has plans to move beyond prototyping and use the delicate technology in a consumer device. So, now on to our favorite news, Apple news. Apple is now the world's most valuable publicly traded company, passing Saudi Arabia's state-owned oil company, Saudi Aramco. As of close of business Friday, Apple has a market valuation of $1.84 trillion, while Saudi Aramco's is $1.76 trillion. Apple stock, which has been on a large, steady climb since the end of March, closed up more than 10% on Friday following the company's record-breaking third-quarter earnings on Thursday, ending the day at around $425. Apple's total revenue for quarter 3 hit $59.7 billion, up 11% from last year. Strong Mac and iPad sales were a highlight, and the company likely saw increased demand for devices while people have been sheltering in place due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Apple also announced a 4-for-1 stock split as part of its third quarter earnings, which will lower the price of an individual stock. In some other sad Apple news, a longtime marketing chief, Phil Schiller, is stepping into somewhat of a smaller role after decades with the company. Schiller is dropping his role as Senior Vice President of Worldwide Marketing, but he'll remain in charge of the App Store and Apple events. Greg Joswiak, previously the head of Product Marketing, will take over Schiller's former position as Apple's overall marketing leader. Marketing is a huge role inside of Apple that goes far beyond simply advertising products, so this marks a significant change within the company. As Apple puts it, the marketing division is responsible for Apple's product management and product marketing, developer relations, market research, business management, as well as education, enterprise, and international marketing. Joswiak has been in Apple leadership roles for more than 2 decades now, and he's led Apple's worldwide product marketing for the last 4 years. Schiller has been with Apple since 1997, helping to steer the company from one of its lowest points to the technology juggernaut that it is today. While he's been in charge of marketing, Schiller is also known for his involvement in Apple's hardware, often presenting new products like the previous Mac Pro on stage at Apple events. Now, for some products that were released by Samsung this week. They have officially announced their 2020 Galaxy Note lineup, as you can see up here. There are 2 models this year, the regular Galaxy Note 20 and the high-end Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Both feature the main thing that differentiates the Note line, that's an included S Pen, but the new Notes are more different from each other than you might expect. As did with the Galaxy S20 earlier this year, Samsung is explicitly trying to make the Ultra moniker push to the top tier specs even higher, which apparently allows the regular model to skimp on a few features. The regular Galaxy Note 20 lacks important features like a high refresh rate screen, microSD storage expansion, and a periscope zoom lens, but that doesn't mean it isn't expensive. It's $999 for a model with 128 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes gigabytes of RAM. The Note 20 Ultra, meanwhile, has everything Samsung knows how to throw at a phone, short of a folding screen, and the price to match those specs is $1,300 for the 128 gigabyte storage model and 12 gigabytes of RAM. And then if you want the higher tier one at about $1,500 to bump the storage up to 512 gigabytes. Pre-orders for both began at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time on August 6th, and the phone should be shipping in carrier stores on August 21st. Samsung has improved latency on the S Pen and added a few more ways you can wave it to control your phone remotely. Both phones also have support for fast charging, wireless charging, and reverse wireless charging. And on top of that, Samsung is also using the brand new version of Gorilla Glass that's supposedly more resistant to scratches. If you want to learn more about the features of this phone, make sure to check out the website in the description of this video, along with all the other websites in the video. Back to our favorite news, Apple news. They have just announced updates for their 27-inch iMac. They now have Intel's 10th gen Comet-like processors, and they also finally upgraded the webcam to a higher resolution 1080p HD sensor instead of the low-res 720p sensor found in other Macs. This has taken a long time for them to do. SSDs are now finally standard. Also taken a long time for them to do across the line, and there will be a bunch of new configuration options, including a new nano texture version with less reflective matte glass. If you've seen it on the Pro Display XDR, they will now have that on this Mac. The 27-inch iMac starts at $1,800 and is available to order today and will ship this week. The 21.5-inch iMac, which is shifting to SSDs as standard, starts at $1,100 and will ship next week. Apple is also giving the iMac Pro a small spec bump, making the 10-core Intel chips the new baseline for the $5,000 computer. This is also shipping next week. Oddly, the iMac Pro is not otherwise getting updated. This is not the major redesign that has been rumored, nor is it the first ARM-based Mac. Instead, the 2020 iMacs look identical to the last generation, including the large black bezel all the way around the screen and the big metal chin at the bottom. Apple says that, as noted at WWDC, it intends to support Intel-based Macs for many years to come. Next up, like Instagram, Snapchat is adding a TikTok-style music feature. Snap said that it would launch the feature to English language users this fall, with it rolling out first in New Zealand and Australia starting today. The feature could let Snapchat gain some more of the energy and creativity users are currently bringing to TikTok, but it seems as though this isn't being designed as a full-on TikTok competitor. For now, it sounds like there won't be a feed of videos set to music, and there won't be a way to see other videos featuring the same song. Two features that were key to TikTok. A Snap spokesperson emphasized that it's designed for sharing music with your real friends. That said, Snap knows that TikTok is the target here. In an email detailing the new feature, Snap said, based on publicly available data, its app reaches more people in the US than Twitter and TikTok combined. It's a lot of people. Back to Samsung news. They have officially announced their Galaxy Z Fold 2 at their Unpacked event. It is the successor to the last year's Galaxy Fold, with a new camera system, larger external display, and a hole punch cameras on the inside that give the new model a far more elegant and cohesive look than the original. The new Galaxy Z Fold 2, renamed to match the Galaxy Z Flip and Z Flip 5G released this year, marks Samsung's first major refresh for its flagship foldable phone, and it looks to improve on nearly every shortcoming of the original model. Instead of an awkward, tiny external display, the Z Fold 2 has a full 6.2-inch screen that covers the entire front of the phone, making it far more usable without having to unfold the larger display. The main display is also bigger at 7.6 inches on the inside, and the weird notch corner that married the top right corner of the flexible interior panel is gone too. It has been replaced by a less obstructive hole punch camera that takes up far less space on the folding OLED screen, which now runs up to a 120 Hz refresh rate. Now the front panel screen only goes up to 60 hertz, so it will be a little bit weird flipping back and forth between the two, but who knows. The internal specs are getting a boost too with the Z Fold 2 to set feature Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 865 Plus processor, and like the Galaxy Z Flip, the Z Fold 2 is switching from the fragile plastic screen to the same ultra-thin glass, which should be less prone to damage than the original. That said, if it's anything like the Z Flip, the flexible glass is still more fragile than a traditional screen. Samsung is also bringing its Flex mode from the Z Flip, allowing the Z Fold to be used in a halfway open configuration and stood up on a desk. The Galaxy Z Fold 2 will come in both Mystic Black and Mystic Bronze colors, along with a limited edition Tom Brown edition. Samsung isn't announcing a release date or price for the Galaxy Z Fold 2 yet, although the company is promising more information on the Z Fold 2 in a second event on September 1st when pre-orders will also begin. In our last piece of tech news, the first third-party Mac Pro wheels are a relative steal at a mere $249. When Apple first announced its refresh Mac Pro, one of the most mocked aspects was the optional $400 wheels, which only became more absurd when Apple started selling wheels as a standalone upgrade for a whopping $700. Fortunately, Mac accessory company OWC is finally stepping in with the first set of third-party wheels, which are a relative steal compared to Apple's official ones. They only cost $249. Okay, that just about wraps up this episode of Tech Weekly. Thank you to everybody that is watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure to check out our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I'm Jake, the Tech Professor. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay safe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.